Greetings, my Israelite brothers and sisters, heirs, joint heirs, adopted, grafted, natural, spiritual, however you may come. Glad to say I'm back. Glad to be back live. Glad to be back in South Florida. And just want to say hello to everybody. Waiting a few seconds for some to chime in. How you doing, Miss B? How's everything? How you doing, Sister K? Yeah, I'm glad to be back home. Glad to be back home. I had a great time at Riverdale, Illinois. Pastor Bowie and congregation, man, what a time, what a time, what a time. I'm going to be posting the radio show that I did on Thursday night. I'm going to be posting the one that the other brothers did. Brother James from Baton Rouge, he did a nice one. Brother Duell from Atlanta, they did nice lessons. We're going to post those. Had a great time. What a lot of energy. What a lot of energy. And all of the teachers and leaders that could come from the various locations from the Israel God from around the country, I should say, including Alaska, was there at this gathering. And let me tell you, talking about iron sharpening iron, talking about just being in a room, I would say probably 60, 70 brothers, just estimately, just in there, learning the word, talking, sharpening each other. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was priceless. You know, I told those brothers that I have been to NBA championship games. I've been to Super Bowls. I've sat in box office seats at prime time sporting events. I've gone to NBA playoff games. You pretty much name it, I've done it. I've been in the White House a few times. I've been to the Congressional Black Caucus. I have been around a lot of people, know a lot of people, but that event at Riverdale with all the brothers was priceless, priceless, priceless. You know, it really does your heart well to see so many brothers in the Word of God, in the Word, and know the Word, and can just, at a drop of a dime, just throw off scriptures. It was just awesome. I was just so proud to know that you could be around such great brothers. And let me say, Pastor Bowie is a walking Bible. The man's a walking Bible. That's all I have to say. To be around him at this stage of his life, where the fruit of the planting of his seed is still maturing and growing, but yet still yielding a lot of fruit, was just awesome. And that seed, being the Israel of God, is yielding. It's in its yielding stages, a lot of ripe fruit. A lot of ripe fruit. So it was just awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You know, and just being around the brothers and meeting people. I didn't know so many people watch this channel. But, you know, to learn that many were and many tune in, it was just awesome. It was just great to know that to be respected among so many people from around the country was just awesome. To know that that you could be respected in the way that the respect was shown to me. So it was great. It was great. Let me tell you, so I'm back. I'm energized. When you come out of an event or out of a gathering like that, you come back. Your mind is set, and when your mind is set, right away, you come back energized. And I'm energized. You come back with ideas because you share viewpoints, you share ideas, you ask people for input, and everything that you receive is genuine, and a lot of love, a lot of camaraderie, and I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. So it was great. So we have. I got on the airplane. And of course, Pastor Bowie prayed for everybody dealing with this here virus. And as he said, we're going to trust the Lord. We're going to do what we need to do to take the necessary precautions, but we've prayed. And that's it. You take the necessary precautions dealing with this virus, and you pray. I think there's more cases. There's 2 cases that popped up, maybe 4 now here in Broward County, which is where Fort Lauderdale is located. And let me just say this: you just keep your hands washed and keep using your hand sanitizer. And stuff like that. So this virus is something that people in South Florida, one thing they know how to do is prepare. And people have been buying water, foods that you can put in the freezer and build up on. A lot of people are not going crazy. They're just shopping wise. They're getting certain things that you need to get. You're stocking up on your meat. You're not going in there and buying up. You're just stocking as you go. Each week you stock up and get a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And that's what I'm doing. And that's the smart way to do it, is just get a little bit and a little bit, and of course, do things healthy. This too shall pass. It's not the first time. How you doing, Lady J? It was so glad to see you there in Riverdale. Sister Lady J came up, and it was just great to just to give her a hug and say thank you. Thank you for tuning in and all of that. How you doing, Laughter? Laughter, are you in Baltimore? I believe you're in Baltimore, but just let me, I don't know if it's Baltimore or Richmond, but let me know. Type it back. How you doing, Brother Harold? Brother Rodney says, Shalom, everyone. What advice should you give to people who are beginning to panic up and buy everything? Well, I would say don't panic, but be wise. Be wise. And, that's all I can tell you. If you got small children and stuff like that, one thing that I always tell people, go back to what grandmama and them did. Grandmama and them, people buying Lysol, they buying all of the disinfectants. One thing that I recall my grandmother doing, Clorox was one of those things that you just pour. Clorox just cleaned everything. And I always remembered my grandparents and my father saying 10 to 1, 10 to 1. I remember my father said when you got to clean something with Clorox, and if you got a cup like this, you imagine it into 10 parts, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Put the Clorox in there and put the other 9/10 with water. Shake it up and you got a good disinfectant. You know, you can do that even when you had to boil water, you know. Back in the day, my grandmother, we had a pump. When we go to my grandmother's house in the summertime, she had a well, and we pumped the water. I mean, like pumped it. And it came up out of the ground. And my grandmother always took it and she put a little Clorox in it, shake it up. And that's, you know, that's how we did. We put it in the refrigerator. You didn't taste the Clorox. She just put a little bit in there and shake it up, and that's how they purified water. And that always worked. I grew up every summer drinking that type of water. And that's all you do. You know, you gotta look at it that way. And of course, one thing that I'm not doing is I'm not going to places where a lot of people from outside the country come in at. You know, this is not the time to be going to large events and large gatherings where international people come in, and you know, it's just that. And you know, on a personal note, one thing that I find it a courtesy to do, you know, people gonna look at you like you crazy when you sniffing and you sneezing. This is just everyday common cold stuff, okay? People gonna look at you like you're crazy. But one thing I do is if I'm sniffing or if I'm coughing, you know, I tell people, if people want to shake hands and stuff like that, I tell them, hey, listen, you know, I got a little common cold, and I go like that, you know. And I think that little fist bump is gonna be the new handshake for a while. And that's just what it is, you know. And don't take offense to it. I had to deal with someone today who came in to do a transaction, and I always see this person. I always see them, and shook hands with them. But I could tell that they were very reluctant. It's just whatever. And so I kind of said, oh, okay. And, but because, you know, we had hand sanitizer, using it. So I think those things like that keep us where, you know, even from catching a common cold, you may see some of that go down because people are being so cautious about everything. And I think that's wonderful. Yes, good country life. Know about it. Durham, how you doing, brother Roderick? You now living in Burlington, North Carolina. Okay. Wow, cool. Brother Tobiah, how you doing? Sister Queen Cleo, how you doing? How you doing, Sister Susan H? Richmond. So the reason why I asked Sister Laughter, because I met the brothers in IOG over in Baltimore, Maryland. I think you're a little further. I think you're a little far from that. If I'm thinking Richmond, Virginia, yeah, you're about 2 hours, maybe 2 hours from Baltimore. I'm not really for sure. But good sharp brother up there. Good sharp brother from Baltimore. Teaching that congregation up there. Very sharp. And we got a chance to jail. And before we knew both of our last names were Johnson, we just jailed. He's a good brother. Of course, all the brothers this weekend at the IOG, all the brothers. I mean, let me tell you, I'm gonna show some videos of that. Just of the brothers in the conference room. There's no audio with it, but it just shows that how many people were in the room, and just when you just see people opening up that book, going through that word, and just dissecting the word and learning and putting line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. Man, it was just awesome. But again, I have to say, Um, if there's any, I've never seen anybody in my adult lifehood, that knows that word like Pastor Boyd, that can go through the scriptures in the book and just say, go over here, read this, go to that book, go to that book, go back over here. I just, and that's my aspiration. That's what I'm learning to do, because that's what my teacher does. So I'm learning as a student to be able to do that. And whenever I see him do it as rapidly and as quickly, that's what I'm endeavoring and practicing to do, is to just keep that stuff here and to know where those subjects are, and how to know where things are located based upon the layout of the Bible. But now, when I was a young teenager, I had another teacher, pastor, that I set up under, and his name was Dr. S.P. Rollins. Let me tell you what, I would just ask him questions as a young man, and as much as I can recall, the wisdom that came from him was just phenomenal, because I was, 12, 13, 14 years old, and had an opportunity to deal with him or go to his house often. Back in those days, you just walked through the back door. That's how my pastor's house was. You just walked through the back door. It wasn't no big deal. You just walked through. And they always had some food going. It was just awesome. You can't do that today, of course. Things are just not like that. But I make mention of those two individuals because I considered them to be men of the word that really know the word. And it's good that in this point of my life that I've come across someone like Pastor Boyd that knows that word. Very well respected. Very well respected. I mean, to see so many young men that just anchor and gravitate themselves around the knowledge that this brother has is awesome. And I was sharing with some of the brothers up there, I said, man, if you all just get Pastor Bowie's lessons and study them, don't just listen to them, study them. And that's what I do. I study the lessons. I watch them, and then I go study them to vet them. And it takes a lot of time. Somebody told me, they said, man, when we first met you, your hair was dark. I said, brother, this comes from all that studying and reading. That's what I attribute to. That's why the scripture says, a hoary head. I said, let me explain something to you, man. When you be in that word like that, it's like when Moses went up and came back down, there was a light countenance on his face. I don't have that, but let me tell you though, it will, you will get, thank you, Sister Susan, you'll get a lot of wisdom, I'm telling you. And I'm not proclaiming to be such a wise person. I'm just telling you, in the past 2 years, what I know in this word now and what I've gotten in 2 years, I haven't received that in over a 15-year period, over a 15-year time period. Is that Brother Daniel Edginson? Brother Daniel, how you doing? I think that's Brother Daniel. I don't know if you're still down here in South Florida, if you're still the same Daniel. Sister Laughter, if you get an opportunity, go up there, see Brother Johnson, tell him I sent you. You will immensely enjoy yourself. I think you will really enjoy yourself. How you doing, Sister Lavana? So there's about, you all know I'm going to be catching up. Elder Robert Johnson will be doing Bible study on Friday night. I don't know what his lesson is. He hasn't given it to me yet, but I told him I'm going to trust him on this one. So I told him, I hope it gels with what I teach. But I told him, he said, no, I got it. Let me put my lesson together. So he's putting his lesson together, and he's going to teach. I'm going to read. Brother JD and I, we'll comment after he's finished with his lessons. And if I have a question like you do, I'm gonna do it as well. Rockford, Illinois. How you doing, Brother Daniel? So that's going to be Friday night. Now, Thursday night, I am going to simulcast the, I believe I am, even if it's a late simulcast of the Balm of Gilead. I just found out on Thursday that I have an engagement that I have to go to, but I may get back in time, and if I do, I'm certainly going to simulcast that lesson. What we did for the Balm of Gilead on Thursday when I did the show, I'm going to put that on this evening. What's the name of your teacher's page is on? Just put in IOG and then the word buoy, B-U-I-E, B-U-I-E. IOG and then buoy, B-U-I-E. Or you can put in Pastor Buoy, but I usually go IOG and then the word buoy, B-U-I-E, and all the lessons will come up. Phenomenal teacher, phenomenal. And you'll get that. I watched the show. It was a great lesson. Queen Cleo, great. I'm glad you were able to tune in on Thursday night. So you'll like it. I got a lot of positive reviews that Sabbath when I did the show that Thursday night. A lot of positive reviews. The show was called The Last Error. The Last Error, E-R-R-O-R, worse than the first. So I'm going to post that show tonight. I'm going to post it. I'm going to post it on this channel tonight. So I have to go home. I have to clip it from YouTube, and then I'm going to upload it, and you'll get it. So you'll be able to watch that probably within the next hour or so. But I want to say something about this coronavirus before I leave. Be wise, because the brother asked, what advice would you give? Pray always. Yes, IOG Riverdale website has all of Pastor Buoy's text lessons. Great resource. It is an absolutely awesomely great resource. I have all those that teach at Bethel. I tell them, go there and get the lessons. And I'm going to start having roundtables with my teachers, with those that teach at Bethel, and to make sure, because all of them are going to have to teach a feast day lesson this year. Each one of them has been given assigned one of the feast days, and they have 2 to 3 weeks to teach that lesson for Bible study in the morning time. But they got to know it. They got to understand it. And they pretty much do. This year, we've switched the lessons around because I want them to become well-rounded and all of that. When you get Pastor Buoy's text lessons, and when you look at the video, you can look at, this is what I do. I watch the lesson one time all the way through, sometimes twice, and it's been on a lot of occasions I will watch it a third time. on YouTube. Um, the YouTube lessons are shorter than what they are originally. So I would encourage you to get the Bible app and get the monthly subscription. It's very cost efficient. It doesn't cost a lot. And what I would do from there is I would study the lesson with the text lesson. Or that's one way you can do it. Or if you just want to watch the video's long enough to get enough understanding out of it. But when you start to get that fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh time of watching it, open up your Bible. You got to open up your Bible. I usually do that about another 3 to 4 times. Then when I go back and after I got all the scriptures, I go back and read each one of those scriptures in the context of the story where it's located. So for instance, if I read something about Passover, that talks about get you a lamb on the 10th day and the whole assembly should keep it until the 14th day and kill it in the evening. If that one little text is used in one of the lessons, I read pretty much the starting point of the context of that verse all the way throughout the remaining of it until the subject change. And I will read that without looking at the lesson or the video. I got those scriptures written down. I just want to make sure that I understand that the context in which that scripture is being used is relevant. Now, because I study Pastor Boyd a lot in the lessons that he puts together, it's comfortable with me that I don't have to do that on every one of his unless I'm going to teach it. Now, if I'm going to teach that lesson, then I go into a whole different process. What I do is then go back and read that entire chapter that one little verse came from. And sometimes I go read the chapter or the chapter after that because I'm teaching it now. And when I do that, I read the chapter in which every one of those scriptures came from. For instance, if he has 20 scriptures in his lesson, I'm going to read 20 chapters. And I'm going to do it multiple times, at least another 3 to 5 times. I'm just showing you why I got this gray hair. It's not because it's burdensome. It's just knowledge is coming in. I believe it just changes who you are. The word will just automatically start to resonate in your body, and it just changes who you are. So I'm reading the chapter now because now I'm going to teach the lesson. Then after I have read each one of those scriptures, again, if he has 20 verses, I read 20 chapters, and I do it multiple times. Let me just say several times. After I do that, and I know I understand the lesson, I go back and watch the video again. Because now I will pick up something that Pastor Boyd may have said in his presentation that I can appreciate now that I've got the full context, the full spectrum of what's going on. And let me tell you what it will do. It does several things with me. I will find myself using those scriptures in lessons that I may put together on my own at a later date because they're good reference points to use. And you find yourself now learning the scriptures, you know your knowledge now is going to increase. Your knowledge is going to increase. Now, how much time does that take? I can tell you just on one of Pastor Bowie's lessons, I could spend the entire week on it. Sometimes a week and a few days on it, because I'm every day. And I'm including now that I'm back to work. I was retired, got bored, and I love being around people, but it works for me. Even on my breaks, my lunch break, I will go in and start. I come right in my car, and because I'm in and out of meetings all day, which is okay. I mean, I'm not complaining. But I come in my car, put my headphones on, and I just really start to look at the video again. That counts as one of the sessions that I'm looking at that lesson. And so that's what I do. And when I go to bed at night, right before, when I know I'm getting ready to go to sleep, I put my headphones on and I'm watching that video again. Most of the time, I may get through the first hour and then I'll play it again. I usually fall asleep somewhere into the next 10 or 15 minutes into that lesson after I'm watching it a second time. When I get up in the morning, I'll pretty much know where I left off at. I'll just pick a point and I just go right through it again. You know, my wife is very patient with me. I mean, I don't walk around with headphones in the house, but when they're doing something, or she's helping my daughter with homework, I'm either doing something or preparing something I do, or I got that lesson on, especially if it's something that I'm preparing to teach. And I think it's noteworthy that needs to be taught. And that's how much time I put into it. And you have to put that kind of time in. Remember when Joshua took over the position of Moses, and Joshua learned very quickly that what gave Moses his I don't want to say power, but what gave Moses his ability to lead was the fact that he was constantly in the Word. So the angel of the Lord told Joshua, Moses is dead. And he told him, said, if you meditate in this Word day in and day out, don't turn to the right, don't turn to the left, but meditate it, I will be with you like I was with Moses. And let me tell you, brothers and sisters, when you do that, let me tell you, the Most High will be with you. The Most High will be with you. And so let me just tie this in with the coronavirus. When you're meditating in the Word day in and day out, and you're prayerful, and you're taking the necessary precautions. I'm not saying don't go use hand sanitizer. I'm not saying don't be careful. Of course you need to do that. What I'm saying is that when you do that and you're meditating in the Word day in and day out, the Almighty puts a hedge around you. And I'm confident in that. I'm very confident in doing that. So I wanted to share that with you all. You know, always have a good time when I'm able to spend this little time with you. So just again, we're going to be posting that show, and then Friday night, look for my brother Elder Robert Johnson. Jerry, how you doing? Brother Israel, how you doing? Brother JD, how you doing, my brother? Absolutely, Brother Roderick. Brother Kenneth says a 31-year-old man tested positive today here in Frisco, Texas. He had just made a trip to California. Yeah, let me tell you, wherever, California, wow. There's a little bit more to it than that. I'm sure he was around somebody that traveled out of the country, whether it was family, something happened, 31 years old. Look at the symptoms of this virus, and like they say, it's a fever. Definitely comes with the fever, and it definitely comes with difficulty breathing. When that happens, then something's up. So that's how you can put it. There is no fear. The Most High hedges will protect me. Absolutely. And that's the way I feel about this thing. And let me say this too. Everybody in the world is gonna have a conspiracy theory with this. Just know that's gonna happen. You know how people are. There's a conspiracy. Oh, this is one of the seals. This is Matthew the 24th chapter. That's what this is. This is simply Matthew the 24th chapter. There's going to be pestilence and diseases and all like that. Still, the biggest thing to happen is watch for that temple being built and the abomination of the desolation standing in the holy place. The pieces of the puzzle are moving there. Y'all know my spiel on that one. But that's all you can do. And like I said, you go to the store, if you normally get one case of water, you might get two, and the things that, so that when you go to a shelf, or if you go to a grocery store, things that are missing, and every hand sanitizer, you can't find it. I'm telling you right now, you cannot find hand sanitizer. I'm looking for the one I had because I thought I had it in my bag, and I hope that nobody take it out because I had it in my bag. You got to use that hand sanitizer. That's what I can tell you and share with you. Where's my hand sanitizer? I had a big, nice sized bottle too. Don't know what I did with it, but I have it. But, keep your hand sanitizer around and make sure, and I think you're going to be fine. I'm just wondering where mine is. Found it. Yeah. That's what I recommend. That's exactly what I recommend. Of course, the man is 31 years old. He fits in that age group that will catch the coronavirus, go through flu-like symptoms, and in a few days he'll clear it. But when you're in that 60, 70 age range, ain't good. 80, ain't good. Not good. So that's the best I could say. But just be precautious. Stay prayed up, stay in his word, meditate in his word day in and day out. He'll be with us, just like he was with Moses, Joshua. We know what happens when we get out of the will of the Most High God. We know. Stay in it. And don't get in his word, and then when the coronavirus, when this pandemic, I don't even know if they even named it a pandemic yet. But it's still certainly that where it's at. Stock market, people have lost. I mean lost. Big time. I'm not a stock market guy, but I tell you right now, I feel like going to go buy some stocks since they've fallen so low. But I just don't do the stock market. I don't do it. But it's if you got the money, I would do some smart investment. If you have the money to spare, I would. It might be all of the experts are saying this is the time to do it. Watch the market, And if you got money in there, they're telling you, don't sell, don't sell. Wait till it goes back up. Don't sell, because you can sell, and once you sell, you lost. Because some of these markets have lost 60%, up to 60%. So if you made $100 investment and it's worth now $40, some people are panicking and selling it because they don't want it to drop down to 30 or 20. You're already in it. You're already there. You might as well just wait till it goes back up. Can't pour that money out now. Can't sell it now, because people who can buy stocks will come in and buy it they'll buy your stock at that $40 price. And then while it's holding there, when, within the next several months, this thing shoots back up to $100, they've made $60 off of their $40 investment. And that's just how this thing is going to roll. That's how it's going to roll. I'm watching, let's get on some politics real quick. I got maybe, I don't know how long. I'm in line. Let me say this. I'm watching. Finally, we're going to have two people that's running in the Democratic Party. There may be three, but it's Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. And the Democratic Party is just so divided right now. So divided. If Bernie Sanders does not get the nominee, they're going to think the Democratic Party has done him in a second time, when they felt like he should have been the one instead of Hillary. And y'all remember the emails and everything that went out on Bernie Sanders when Hillary was running the things that they were doing behind the scenes. Bernie and his crew ain't going to take too light to that if that happens again. But it's just amazing. It's amazing. And although I was up in Chicago this weekend, I had people that came to visit, and my own family, they told me when they were leaving, they said, man, that the highway, the expressway was so jam-packed. Cars were just at a parking lot stop, because Donald Trump was in town, and people were trying to get there to go see Donald Trump. Listen, I'm going to be honest. It wasn't like that when Obama was running. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where these people are coming from. But Donald Trump has poured out a base. He's poured out some folk that has been sleeping. And it's amazing. People are coming out. He's poured out his base from the majority group that are low to mid income, and they're coming out. That let's keep America great and all like that, and let's build a wall and keep everybody out. Listen, it wouldn't surprise me if Donald Trump doesn't pull a move. We're not doing any more international flights. I can see that happening. No more international flights. And then everybody, when this thing, and that's one way you're going to have to control this virus. People may not like to hear that, but that's going to be one way to control it, is to say no more international flights. And until this thing goes away, until everybody in America, nobody has it anymore. And I see that happening. I really do. Because when they tracking this thing, these people came from right out of the country, brought it right inside the country, coming off of cruise ships, international travel, came right into these airports, and now you're going to have to track it. The only way you can deal with this is just say no more international flights. No more. We're stopping them. And that's including cruises. No more international travel, period. It may hurt the cruise industry. And I got a call. I believe it was Friday or yesterday. I can't remember. I think it was Friday. And I was walking, coming out of the hotel, and the lady says, it came up on my phone, Carnival promo or something. And hi, listen, your name was selected, went through that thing, right? And we wanted to offer you a 5-day, 4-night cruise, and it's just $199. And what we want is for you to just talk about the cruise, this and that. And I said, ma'am, can you call me back? Because I was around a lot of people. And I says, I really can't hear you. And she says, Mr. Johnson, we're offering you a 5-day, 4-night cruise for $199. And this is Carnival. And I said, ma'am, you can't pay me to take a airline cruise right now. Not an airline, cruise ship. You can't pay me to take a cruise right now. I'm sorry. Thank you, but no thank you. And I meant exactly that. If they came and said, listen, we're going to pay you $1,000 or $1,500, we want you to come and take a cruise and tell us about our new ship, ain't going to happen. Nope. No thank you. Won't do it. Won't do it. And that's the way that's going to be. I'm telling you. Well, listen, we'll talk soon, and look for that post I'm going to do regarding the Balm of Gilead show, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.